ABCD is a parallelogram. We are given ABC as a parallelogram. E and F are the midpoints. So beta E is midpoint here. This is given to us that E is midpoint. Also we are given one midpoint F of DC. Children, whenever you are given any midpoint, just keep in mind either you are going to use midpoint theorem or converse of midpoint theorem. Keep in mind, right? E, F, and are the midpoints of the sides AB and CD respectively show that line segment AF, they are talking of line segment AF. That means we need to join AF. Line segment AF and EC. EC, so we need to join EC as well. Trisect. What do you mean by trisect, beta? What is the meaning of trisect?
Divide into
Three parts.
Divide into
Equal
three
parts.
parts.
into three
Three
equal parts.
equal parts.
Equal parts.
Trisect, we have to show this line segment AF and EC trisect BD. BD means we need to join BD as well. So trisect BD means let us mark these points as P and Q. So we have to show what? That DP is equal PQ is equal
QB.
So we need to show that DP is equal PQ is equal QB. Okay. This is what we need to show. As I told you, beta, whenever midpoint is mentioned, that means midpoint theorem or converse of midpoint theorem has to be used. And both these theorems are applicable in which kind of figure?
Triangle.
Triangle. So first of all, let us see what we have to do. We are given that ABCD is a parallelogram, right? As ABCD is a parallelogram. Children, does it mean that AB is equal DC and also AB parallel DC?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal as well as parallel.
Parallel.
Now, if sides are equal, does it mean that their halves will also be equal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And a half will be parallel as well. If full sides are parallel, half sides will also be parallel. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to take care of this thing. I want to take care of this. AECF. AECF. So half of AB, can it be AE?
Yes, ma'am.
Can this be AE? This portion, because E is the midpoint.
Yes, ma'am.
And how about half of DC?
DF.
So these two parts are equal. And also, these two parts are parallel. Bolo beta. Tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now in parallelogram, in quadrilateral AECF, one side is equal as well as parallel. What does it become?
Parallelogram.
Parallelogram.
So this gives me that AECF is a parallelogram. AECF is a parallelogram. Now children, keep in mind, we are showing that this quadrilateral is a parallelogram by using this pair equal as well as parallel. But after showing this to be a parallelogram, What can be said about the other pair?
Ma'am, they are also equal and
They are
parallel.
also
They are
parallel.
also equal and parallel.
Parallel. Very good. So that is what we are going to use. Now we have shown AEC is a parallelogram. So this means AF is parallel to EC. AF is parallel to EC. This one. है ना? ये parallel हो गए ना एक दूसरे के. Got my point? I'm just
Yes.
repeating, using one pair equal and parallel. Using one pair equal and parallel, we have shown this to be a parallelogram. And now when it has become a parallelogram, then obviously the other pair will be parallel too. Ji beta?
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let us focus on the triangles. Think of a triangle which contains E as the midpoint. Think of a triangle which
Ma'am,
contains E.
APB.
Ma'am, DAB.
Ma'am, APP.
ADB.
A,
Ma'am,
B,
APB.
Very good. If you have colored pen, children, or crayons, you can also mark it. It will help you. You can mark the boundaries. So in triangle ABP, in triangle ABP, E is the midpoint. G, E is the midpoint. EQ is parallel to AP. Because if AF is parallel to EC, will that mean that EQ is parallel to AP?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm writing in short, I'll write in detail later. Now in triangle ABP, E is midpoint and EQ is parallel to AP because AF is parallel to EC. So can we apply converse of midpoint theorem? Children, can we apply converse of midpoint theorem? What will be the
Yes, ma'am.
conclusion? What will be
Yes,
the
ma'am.
conclusion? What does midpoint theorem, what does converse of midpoint theorem says? That in a triangle, if a line is drawn through midpoint of one side parallel to the third side, then this is also a midpoint. Then this is also a midpoint. So now in triangle ABP, E is the midpoint, EQ is parallel to AP. Does it mean that Q is also a midpoint of PB?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So this give me Q is midpoint of BP. This is using converse of midpoint. Now if Q is midpoint of BP, what does it mean further? Does it mean that PQ is equal to QB?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
है ना? So
Yes, ma'am.
this is our first point. Now children, let us consider another triangle in which F is going to be the midpoint.
Ma'am, AFD.
QD. CQD.
Hey, F should be the midpoint. F is the
DCB.
midpoint. A, CB,
Ma'am, CDQ.
DQC. Yes, DQC or CQD, one and the same thing. In this triangle DCQ, you can see F is the midpoint of F is the
Ma'am,
DC.
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 F is the midpoint. And do we have PF parallel QC?
Yes, ma'am.
We have PF parallel QC. अगर
QC.
PF QC के parallel है तो P क्या बन जाएगा?
Midpoint.
Ma'am, midpoint.
Midpoint of
Ma'am,
QD.
DQ. Ma'am,
F
DQ.
is point and PF is parallel to QC. So this gives me P is midpoint of QC. P is midpoint of QC. And if P is midpoint of QC, what does it mean? That DP
Ma'am,
is
DP
equal
is
to
equal
PQ.
Ma'am, QC.
Ma'am, QD.
Ma'am, QD.
QD.
Yes, QD. So this gives me DP is equal to PQ. जी बेटा Now from here you see PQ is equal to QB and PQ is equal to DP also. What does it mean?
QB is equals to DP.
What does it mean?
DP is equal to PQ is equal
QB equals to DP.
DP is equal to QB.
Is equal to QP is equal to DP. All three are equal. That is what we have to show. That is what we have to show, beta. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Vinayak. Yes, Vinayak.